Hello and welcome to this short video, a video that will explain a little about the simple steps that one can take to a more fulfilled life, a spiritual life in the 21st century. But first, let us put to your hearts, not your ego, and certainly not to your head, the following. Are you seeking personal intimacy with God, a God of many names, like Jehovah, Yahweh, Allah, the Great One, the Omnipresent One, the Divine One, the Creator, Father, Mother, God? Are you ready to live in the world, but not engage with its many dramas? Are you considering a simple lifestyle change? Are you led to follow your heart? Are you thinking about becoming a lay monastic from your own home? We call it your monastery without walls. Are you ready to make such a commitment to embrace life as a modern-day lay monastic? Are you mature enough to commit to such an undertaking as this? Are you searching for a lay monastic family that's non-hierarchical, not full of dogma or ancient rules and rubrics? One that would accept you as you are, regardless of your faith tradition or none, regardless of your sexual orientation, your marital status, even disability. Well, if you are, then let's take a deep breath. What the Teo community of Interfaith Franciscans can offer you in search for spiritual intimacy with your God or Goddess is the simple way of Franclara. Franclara is an abbreviated word for St. Francis and St. Clare of Assisi, as lived by my brothers and sisters of the Teo community. A Teo community that was formed at the tomb of St. Francis in April 2008. And it was I who was attending a wedding, a family wedding in Florence. But on the Monday morning, very early, I got an impromptu heart response to go to Assisi, and despite the long journey from Florence, I think it was under 4 hours by train, I went, and I eventually found the stairwell leading to the tomb where the sarcophagus was exposed for you to see of the remains of St. Francis of Assisi. I remember walking in, but I don't remember anything other than a very powerful feeling, like a bolt of lightning hitting my heart, where I wept many tears, and where I heard in my heart that still voice, it's time to walk the solitary path. And yes, I was a nursing monk in the Catholic tradition for many years, and I have lived as a Catholic Christian, even now, but the difference being, Jesus and Francis asked of us to establish a community for ordinary men and women who didn't have to jump through hula hoops in order to impress superiors, to become a monastic, but to invite men and women and to accept those men and women whom Spirit, God, Francis, Jesus, Allah, Jehovah, Muhammad, Buddha would bring to our community, and to accept them and to embrace them in love, and never ask, what religion are they? But to embrace the God within them through tolerance, love, and respect. Our community at the moment is online, but part of that vision is the Franclara Abbey of peace and compassion. It will be a permanent base for 12 men and women to live the simple life as enclosed monastics, coming together 3 times a day as the Essenes on Mount Sinai did, the Therapeutai Essenes, and Jesus was an Essene, a Nazarene Essene. But taking these simple steps is only possible when we know how to love ourselves, and then we are at best placed to comprehend the love that God has for each one of us and for each individual heart. As a child of God, a God who has many names, we accept that God is a loving shepherd who cares for his sheep. Allow me to share with you from the Christian tradition, Psalm 23, where we have found the blueprint for our little way, which invites every heart to come and see. It begins, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And yet though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. And you prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, and my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." Doesn't that just sum it up? But when you embrace the little way of the Teo community of St. Francis of Assisi, you are surrendering your heart to truth, God's absolute truth. And the 7 keys which form the little way have been divinely inspired for the modern day soul or modern day monastic who seeks not academia, but spiritual support to combat the onslaught of negativity, despair, depression, low self-worth, low self-esteem. I see that these symptoms are all connected to a spirit of darkness which seeks to destroy every soul. And when you follow the light, it's automatic that you attract the dark. Yes, we are guided here not to pretend, but face reality by ensuring that we are watchful and ready for when the Master comes to guide and support the weary heart in service. We are convinced that we are a viable model of religious life for the future, and we believe that God has called the members of our community, the Teo community of St. Francis, to unite as one spiritual family whose love will empower mankind, embrace the natural world, the Franciscan soul, the cathedral of God, and lead by example of what interfaith unity and compassion represents in a spiritual or a spiritually impoverished world or society. But the question I put to your heart again today, are you seeking this personal intimacy with God? Are you ready to live in the world but not engage with its dramas? Are you considering a simpler lifestyle without the dramas, without the challenges from friends and enemies? Are you thinking about becoming a child of God and to activate that love that's already within you from the moment you were born? Remember, you were carved in the very heart of God. And God breathed the breath of the Spirit of God into your being. So within us all, there's an insatiable thirst. Yes, there is. Deep within us. So if you have answered yes, then why not consider joining our online community and enroll in the induction program as a postulant for a 6-month trial period. There are no obligations on you to stay, but if your heart is telling you to pursue with this, we will help you. We will help you. As a member of a rather misunderstood way of spiritual living, our brothers and sisters are ordinary men and women from different faith traditions from around the world, who have volunteered to take the simple steps to a more fulfilled life in a world that is beautiful, but where many have lost their footing. You see it for yourself on the internet, on our TV screens, fear, negativity, the violence of man towards the sacred earth, with no respect for God's free gift to us. But as Franciscans, we follow in the footsteps of an eco-spiritual warrior going back to the 12th century. He didn't preach religion. He demonstrated his love of God through service. And as a community, we are not affiliated to any religion. And though I live a simple life as a Catholic Christian, we are empowered to welcome all brothers and sisters of different beliefs. And that's where I personally have incurred the wrath from within the Christian family, because we do not enforce the proclamation that Jesus Christ is their Lord and Savior. As a child of God, you have to take responsibility for your faith journey. And if you believe in Buddha, Allah, and all of the great spiritual teachers, who am I to sit in judgment on you? I'm not here to judge you. I am here to empower your heart, take responsibility for your faith journey. But as a young Catholic nursing monk, when I entered the monastery on June the 6th, 1966, my mom and dad drove me, many miles. It was an 8-hour journey from Dublin to an island in the southern tips of Ireland, where I lived a contemplative life for 3.5 years. The rules were very strict. And interestingly, coming from the city to a farming community, it was very strange to be assigned as a city boy of 16 years old to the laundry with no electrical gadgets, no washing machine or spin dryer, but an old wash tub where you did everything by hand and a block of soap. Oh yes, it was an interesting, challenging life, but did I learn so much. I rebelled a lot. 16-year-olds do rebel. But when I look back after all those years, I realized that the life was becoming oppressive with all the red tape and all the dogma and the fear. I became deeply depressed, but Jesus guided me to leave. And as much as I struggled with leaving, I had to take responsibility for my health. My health did improve, but what didn't help was the fact that coming from Catholic Ireland, although born in Scotland, my family were rejected by neighbours when they found out that their eldest son had left religious life. But today, I live a very simple life, very simple. Our community is non-hierarchical. We don't have any rules or regulations other than respect and tolerance. And that we are not here to judge another. Our training program is about empowering you to take responsibility for your faith journey. And here you adopt your own rule of life. We're not here to spoon feed you. We're not in a nanny culture. We empower you because we respect God in you. And it's up to you and your relationship with the divine to develop, to explore who you are. But we will walk with you, we will mentor you, and we will care for you. Our ministry as an online community is where we dedicate our lives to God for unity and peace in the world, for interspiritual unity, where the Abrahamic faith and others can come together in love. And we do that twice a day, morning at 9 a.m. and 5 o'clock in the evening. And time zones permitting, our members live all around the world, so time zones are a problem, but we make every effort to come together and nurture one another. Here at our small monastery in Cumbria, we have a monthly service for peace, where members who live in the northwest of the United Kingdom are welcome to come, where we have a time of celebration, a get-together and a catch-up on news. But we trust in our Father, Mother God, who sees our needs, to provide the base when we are ready to walk into it. So when we come to that time of our formation to take our vows, they are the sevenfold vows of peace. And they are providence, simplicity, integrity, faith, gratitude, surrender, and service. But I see of the 7 promises that we make to God, providence is the one that, for me, encompasses all of the 7, or the other 6. Because when we detach ourselves from materialism, I own nothing, but I have everything. Because I trust in a loving God to meet all my needs, and God does meet my needs every day, in every way. But you can still become a member of our community without having to train as a monk. If you're already a member of another faith community, you can become a spiritual affiliate. Or you may choose to just become a friend and support us in your prayer, or join us for prayer without any expectations of you. Let's recap. In a nutshell, when we reach the crossroads of our life, so many times we sense a deep inner longing, don't we? An inner longing deep within our heart to reflect on, why am I here? Who am I? What are my life's purposes? And if you're still on that road of self-discovery and would like to test whether or not you have a monastic calling as a modern-day monk, from your own home, your monastery without walls, where you don't have to leave family or friends, your wife or husband or your partner, or your children, or your beautiful pets, then seek divine guidance within your heart, and then honor it, and then explore the choices that are right for your spiritual pathway. Why miss this golden opportunity today? For the Christian, we're familiar with the beautiful image of Jesus on the other side of the door knocking. He could be knocking on your heart today to come follow him into a simpler way of living. Trust me, the life I live, yes, I've chosen to wear a uniform, the habit, but most of our members have chosen not to, and that's good. But I wear it because it's comfortable for me. I feel naked without it. And when I go into the small village to do our shopping, yes, people sometimes look at you as if, oh, hello. But there are others who come to you and ask you to pray with them. There are others who seek you out because they've got cancer, or they're worried about a member of their family. So we sit, we chat, and we use hug therapy. We don't preach religion. We embrace them, and we just give them love. But you cannot love another until you love yourself. That was a painful lesson for me 12 years ago, when I used to say to so many as a senior nurse in charge of a busy medical unit back in the early 80s, and when I was a senior nurse in palliative care caring for the dying in North Wales, I was a hypocrite. I was telling people I loved them, but I didn't love myself because I realized I was full of guilt and fear, and I carried a lot of baggage from childhood. But thankfully, through prayer and meditation, and through the presence of Christ, all of that was taken away, and I was shown how much I'm loved. And I'm going to stop there because I'll end up crying, because it was such a profound experience when I went away for 6 months to find me and to heal my little boy, little Sean, who was abused, and to say to him, it wasn't your fault. So there's inner peace now, and that peace is beautiful. To conclude, I want to share with you a beautiful prayer that we do read when we go live on the internet, on our live stream channel, Franciscan Soulmates for Peace. You can hear Clemmy barking, we've just had a delivery of post. Swami Vivekananda leaves us a nugget of pure spiritual magic. I shall go to the mosque of the Muslim. I shall enter the Christian church and kneel before the crucifix. I shall enter the Buddhist temple and take refuge in the Buddha. I shall go into the forest and sit down in meditation with the Hindu, and in addition, I shall keep my heart open for all that may come in the future. Is God's book finished, or is revelation still going on? Salutations to the prophets of the past, to all the great ones of the present, and to those who are to come in the future. And I want to conclude now with a beautiful prayer, the Lord's Prayer, given to me by Sister Miriam in New Zealand 3 years ago now, from the Anglican Daily Prayer Book. It is beautiful. Eternal Spirit, Earth Maker, Pain Bearer, Life Giver, Source of all that is and that shall be, Father and Mother of us all, loving God in whom is heaven. The hallowing of your name echoes through the universe. The way of your justice be followed by all the peoples of the world. Your heavenly will be done by all created beings. Your commonwealth of peace and freedom sustain our hope and come on earth. With the bread we need for today, feed us. In the hurts we absorb from one another, forgive us. In times of temptation and trial and test, strengthen us. From trials too great to endure, spare us. From the grip of all that is evil, free us. For you reign in the glory of the power that is love, now and forevermore. Amen. And a Celtic blessing, which I dedicate to you for taking the time to listen to this owl monk rabbit on from his heart. The blessing of heaven, the blessing of earth, the blessing of sea and sky on those we love this day, and on every human family, the gift of heaven, the gift of earth, the gift of sun and moon, the gift of the animal kingdom be in your heart, now and forevermore. Amen. Go in peace, to love and to serve whoever your God, Goddess is, and invite, invoke, and call upon the Spirit of love to reawaken your heart to the I Am presence, the one who is already within your heart. Namaste. Shalom. Inshallah paxet bonum om shanti. Solo di caritas. Salam alaikum. And may the peace of our beloved God reawaken you today to your heart's cries and follow your path. Whatever your path is, wherever it leads you, honor it, because your heart is your teacher. Your heart is the gateway to your soul, your higher self, and your higher self is the gateway to God, to Nirvana. Please say a little one for me. Thank you, and may God reward you with this peace. Amen.